Hear from the coach first.
It's the best place in the world to play football.
This is the Pete Carroll Preview, presented by Pizza Hut. Here's your host, Steve Raible.
Well, Pete, I know you're getting ready, prepared for Houston, but I didn't get a chance to talk to you after the game as much as I would like to have. So for my own self, I just need to ask you, how great was that win? How satisfying was the win? How energizing was that win?
Yeah, it was all of the above for us. You know, we needed to win. We needed to have the fun with it. We needed to play well at home. We needed to, play to the 12s and give them a great event as well. All of that, and they were flying high now. The Niners were good, this last month, and so we had a tremendous amount of respect for their team and what they had been doing, and so the things that we needed to do really happened, in that we stopped their running game, and that's been the heart of their team for the last, this turnaround they've been involved with. And our guys played the running game great, and that set things in motion for us, where we wound up shutting them out in the second half. The offense had a few good drives and some big plays, and special teams did their thing in a huge way, and made for a great game and a really fun day at the stadium.
Travis Homer, NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Then the names that we talk about during the game, but often we don't mention when we have a chance to chat, or you're not asked about them. But guys like Nick Bellore and Penny Hart and Cody Barton and Michael Dixon leading the league inside the 20 with 32 punts. You can't say enough about the special teams.
No, this is a bunch that we're playing as well as anybody can play this game. I mean, this is a great group. We've got the kickers and the punter that can give you the chance to really change and control the field position. Michael's doing an incredible job. It's a kind of hidden factor, when you talk about that field position, and the team keeps starting inside their own 20-yard. 32 times he's kicked them back inside the 20. That's a fantastic asset. But Nick Bellore leads a group of guys covering. I think Nick's in the lead for tackles for special teams, and I think right behind him is Cody Barton, and right behind him is John Radigan. Those guys are up there in the league across the board. So, and you mentioned Penny Hart. What an asset he is too. So it's just been a really good group with a great attitude. You got to give a lot of credit to Larry Izzo and Tracy Smith for the job they're doing. But they've got a core group they're really, really fun to coach. And
sometimes, as you have seen this year, those core guys on special teams also, like Ryan Neal this week, called up to full-time duty. Do they then relinquish their special teams duties? Because that's a lot of work.
Well, we do. We trim down their workload. They won't have the full load that they would get if they weren't starting. And so but Ryan's too valuable at too many things, to just take him off everything. But and he wouldn't want it any other way. He wants to play. He's a factor and a facet of that thing that he wants to do his part there too. So he'll do a little bit of everything.
So what is the key then for this week? How do you carry over? What do you do to take that next step against a Houston team that, I mean, quite frankly, they haven't been played terribly well the whole season?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is to continue to stay with the messaging that, a big win can have just as much factor as a distraction as a difficult loss. And we've got to go right back to work. And we've had a very, very good week. The guys really were tuned in, and they had a lot of fun at practice. Everybody was flying around and all of that. That's the most important thing, is we get back to the work ethic that gives you a chance to perform well, regardless of what just happened. And so it was a big win. We had a blast with it, but we had to put it behind us and get right back to the competing to make a great game plan come together. So that's what we've done. That's an ongoing discipline, Raves, that I'm always preaching, so that you can find the consistency, so you're not an up and down team. You don't in and out when you're playing division teams or big matchups or whatever it may be, that people build on the outside. We have to be over and above that. So it's a great opportunity. Now, these guys, they've had 2 of their last 4 games where they've created 5 turnovers in each game. And that can win a game all by itself. It's how they beat the Titans, and they didn't win another game when they did it remarkably. So this is a team that has enough dynamics to it that can give you problems, and just ask those guys from Tennessee. They ran into it. So we're going to try to put together a really good game, play our game, do the things we want to do, and see if we can't stack a win or 2 here and get some momentum going.
The good news this week, among other things, Russ really looked like Russ again. A couple of those passes were just vintage Russell Wilson. They were just beauties to see. The bad news, of course, Jamal Adams, you've talked about not only the loss of a football player, but just the loss of a guy that brings the kind of energy that he does to the locker room. Just on those two guys, your thoughts moving forward.
Yeah, Russ is really, I mean, we should all understand that, now this is his 9th week from surgery, so this is really, the area that he can really start going. And for him to play after 4 weeks was a great challenge, but he did it and was capable to do it. But now he's even better than ever. So we're excited about that. Losing Jamal, like you said, there's no way you can replace that kind of character and personality on your team. But we can replace the play, and Ryan will bring his part to it, and he'll do some great stuff for us. But Jamal's a rare football player, and we love him, and really we're all just sending good wishes. He's had big surgery just yesterday, and hopefully everything turned out great, and he'll be roaring back at us. But we certainly will miss him. Finally,
and you've talked about it several times this week, but I'm going to ask you one more time about Tyler Lockett and just what he brings to the table, not only from the standpoint of his pregame speech last week, but just his work ethic during the week, what makes him such a great receiver, and then what makes him such a great citizen.
Yeah, he really has everything working for him. He's a great person. He's got great character, and his upbringing was supported beautifully, and he's just been a tremendous person. Well, you put that with this extraordinary natural ability he has as an athlete. He can do anything. I mean, he's so coordinated and so talented, and his timing is so beautiful. And his sense for spatial awareness is amazing, And so you put all that together, and he happens to grow up as a little kid that's fast as hell. He's really fast. So there's so many things he can do well. And it just makes just a tremendous competitor on your team. He's got a lot to say, a lot to offer. We've always called on him a good deal. He just had a thought this week, and we talked about it. And I said, heck yeah, man, get in front of these guys and go. And he did a beautiful job of just helping the focus, and helping us feel closer, to one another. When guys in front of other guys in a closed meeting like that feel the opportunity and the willingness to be vulnerable and say the things that are really on their heart, it's moving, and as it can be, and so that worked out great. We do stuff like that a lot. This one was just inspired by Tyler, and he did a fine job with it. We're just lucky to have him. He's doing great work back home in Tulsa. He does great stuff around here, around the community. Everybody loves him and knows him. You can't not love him. He's just a wonderful kid. So we're lucky to have him on our side.
Yep, I'm glad he's on the team. Pete, I appreciate it. Good luck the rest of your work week here, and we'll talk to you before the game.
Okay, let's go get Houston.
Touchdown, Seahawks! The Pete Carroll Preview on Seattle's Morning News has been brought to you by Pizza Hut. Catch the game right here on KIRO Radio 97.3 FM, your home for the Hawks.